Today, D. Wood, I already know where you're going. What was your best catch of the day yesterday?
I mean, come on, man. We're talking about the big six right here by Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, how often do you have a defensive lineman that goes out here and runs routes, Rex? Like, come on. Not only was he running routes, but he was making adjustments as Cam Ward was scrambling around. Look at that. Look at this man. He actually stayed in bounds.
Rex,
how about that?
He throws his hand up in the air. I mean, he actually...
unbelievable. And he found the open space and all that work with his quarterback. I mean, this dude. I love this catch. I love it.
This is a team that has thrown very few touchdowns this season.
By the way, if they were winning, people would be talking more about Jeffrey Simmons as one of the great defensive players.
No question.
Incredible. He's pretty good at wide receiver, too.
He all of a sudden looks like he might be their tight end. Rex, what was the best interception in the NFL you saw yesterday?
Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Because this one right here, Jordan Love, who, by the way, is killing it lately, just a tad underthrown. But look at Surtain make up ground and ends up diving out, leaping out, and making this catch. Like, this is a big time. And this one changed the game.
Yep.
This one absolutely changed the game. And this is our defensive player of the year last year, and he's still playing at a huge level. And by the way, his teammates are playing at an incredible level as well. But Patrick Surtain, this interception, without question,
So much of our conversation on this game, we opened the show with this game, but because of the Micah Parsons injury, and that obviously is, in the big picture, the biggest thing that comes out of it. However, the other side of it, the Broncos, that is a statement win at home.
Yep.
All they do is win. We thought going into, and by we, I mean me, I thought going into yesterday, the Patriots were going to win and the Broncos were going to lose, and we're going to be looking at New England as the team to beat in the AFC. The reverse happens. Josh Allen comes all the way back to beat the Patriots. What do we say about the Broncos? They're the 1 seed right now. Are they the team to beat in the AFC?
I think they are. They absolutely, with their defense is obviously one of the best in the league. But now I don't know if not a lot of people are saying this. Bo Nix is playing well.
Yeah.
Bo Nix played fantastic yesterday against the Green Bay Packers, and I think if Bo Nix continues to play this way, then the Broncos will represent the AFC.
Yeah, look, I mean, Bo Nix was outstanding, over 300 yards passing in this game, but you got to watch out for one team I've been talking about the last 2 weeks. That's the Houston Texans.
Yep.
They're not even in there yet, but if they get in, watch out.
But let me say this about the Denver Broncos. Not only are they winning, but a few years ago, they were irrelevant. Nobody was talking about them. And they had to move on from Russell Wilson and absorb over $80 million in dead cap money that still is hanging against their salary cap right now. Not only are they the current 1 seed in the AFC, but they've done it in improbable fashion against all odds in a way that most teams could not overcome.
So the Broncos right now are feeling awful good about themselves. D. Wood, last one. What was the best throw you saw in the NFL yesterday?
How about Caleb Williams? I mean, folks, I don't know if people saw this play. Look at this throw. Look at this throw by Caleb. I mean,
wow.
You could say, is there a little bit of luck in there? But Caleb been making these type of throws all season long. I mean, that's an absolute seed right there to DJ Moore. He played well. Caleb played very well yesterday.
Here's what I say about the Bears, Rex, and you tell me what you think of this. They're ahead of schedule, right? We thought next year would be their year. But all the conversations we're having this morning, you never know what the injuries, you never know what might happen. This is their chance. They get the Packers in their own building in Chicago Saturday night. Packers lose Micah Parsons. We spent the beginning of this hour talking about all the players the Packers have lost. Everybody looks imperfect right now. I think if you're the Bears, you have to go into this thing right now thinking this is not house money. Why not us? Why can't this be their year?
Oh, 100%. And that injury to Micah Parsons leveled the playing field. So to me, absolutely, you're sitting back, are they ahead of schedule? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
They're way ahead of schedule. Greeny, I remember you saying it'll be a successful season if we see improvement from Caleb Williams. Well, go ahead and check that box. I mean,
but they run the ball better than any team in the league, and I don't care where they have to play in the playoffs. And oh, by the way, they may wind up winning the division. They're still very much in it to be the 1 seed. But I don't care where you play.
1 seed.
They could be easily. They have 4 losses right now.
I know.
They're sitting right there.
It's amazing to think about.
And they do the things that you do. Primarily, they run the hell out of the ball, and that's what it takes. Who am I talking to?
And it's amazing. But coaching matters. The thing is right here, that was the big move. They got the great coach, and they improved. Every one of their players improved. And by the way, they had a plan, and they go in, they hit on every one of those free agent offensive linemen. It went from a weakness to a strength, and that's why they're in the position they're in.
They have been the team that seemed to get almost everything wrong for a long time. It looks like right now, all these decisions they made in the offseason, they look like the team that got everything right.
We talked about a lot of teams. They set it up to protect and build around their franchise quarterback to make him happy. Who hasn't done that?
A lot of these other teams, Cincinnati and these others. Okay, the young man, at some point, D-Wood, you played the game. You get beat up playing that sport, regardless of position. And at some point, you don't have to be 37 years old to say, I've just had enough.
Yeah, man. It just seems like when I watch Joe Burrow and his body language, it just looks like there's no joy.
Well, he said that.
There's no joy from the game right now, which, as a football fan and as a fan of Joe Burrow, it actually sucks because I love watching. I think, in my opinion, Joe Burrow plays the quarterback position maybe the purest of any quarterback in the league. And right now, it just looks like we're losing, we're losing Joe Burrow. I don't know any other way to really describe it, but I think he needs to get the hell out of Cincinnati. I think that organization's not doing him any favors. I feel like he needs a fresh start somewhere else.
Look, first off, I got to say this, losing sucks, all right? That's the look I get right there. He's fed up with it. Look, this man, here's what I know. He rehabbed his butt off 3 weeks or 4 weeks ahead of schedule just to come in and try to compete with his guys. I think he's disgusted with the performance of his teammates, too. I'm sorry, but you got a left guard that turns a guy loose. He gets sacked one time. They don't even block the defensive tackle. All right. Then I see another time they don't block him again. He throws an interception. How the hell you turn a defensive tackle loose? I think he's fed up with the commitment of his. Is everybody? How would the Cincinnati Bengals be if every one of those Bengals were like me? If they were like Joe Burrow, this team would be undefeated. I see a guy that has had it up to here. There's no energy in this building. All right, he's the only one trying to bring it and saving it. But when I see a team that gave up a 29-yard carry to Derrick Henry, a 24-yard carry to Derrick Henry, and a 22-yard carry, all in the third quarter, this team quit. He knows it. He's smart. He knows it. They need to have. They need way more juice in this building. And to me, you don't ever let this man leave your building. All right, you got to make it right. You got to make it right and surround him by guys that are like-minded. That's why he's having a miserable time right now. That's the look I see in this man.
I think that's your concern is where's the hope for the future? If you're him, if you're Joe Burrow and you take a step back in the situation, what is there to look forward to? The offensive line is still poor. The defensive talent hasn't elevated. You're going to trust the people who have brought in that defensive talent to all of a sudden revitalize the defensive talent. I think if you're Joe Burrow, it just doesn't look promising. Yes, he'll have stats. Yes, he's a great quarterback. But when it comes to winning and truly competing, there's just not a lot that you can point to and sit there and say, I believe in this.
It's worn down a lot of players there. We've seen this play out with Carson Palmer. We saw Carson Palmer go through something very similar and say, I'm done. I've had enough. And I don't know if Joe Burrow is there or getting there or thinking like that to be there, but it feels a little bit like that right now to me.
It's tough to watch. I mean, yesterday was a tough game to watch. I'll admit, I thought it was going to go completely the opposite direction. I thought after the comments
Baltimore didn't even play good.
Yeah.
And that game wasn't even close.
That wasn't. All right, we're going to lose Dan because he's got to fly to Pittsburgh for NFL Live this afternoon. So let's do a quick Monday Dan.
Stay warm.
And that. The analytics give them a 0.5% chance of making the playoffs. Here's Jerry Jones.
I don't know how to describe a miracle. I know that it would take a very tight circumstances to get us in. And when we expected that, we thought we'd have to win out to have a little room, but not a lot. Now, of course, I know how to count.
He knows how to count, which means he understands the situation. The Cowboys will be with the rest of us watching the playoffs this year. And, Rex, it is a shame because this was a championship-caliber offense. You've been saying it all year.
I have. And look, and this team averages over 29 points a game. All right? This will be the fourth time in the last 30 years that a team that averages 29 points or more does not make the playoffs. So who's that on?
Who is it on? Is it on the defensive talent? Is it on the trading away of Micah Parsons? Is it on the defensive coordinator who's Matt Eberflus?
Keep going. Yeah, I would say I'm going to say all of the above.
Yeah.
You can put them all down there as long as it's something with the defense. And because that thing has been atrocious. And look, they made J.J. McCarthy look like Fran Tarkenton yesterday, all right? And quite honestly, he's been struggling, but I will say that he did play well.
Yeah.
And look, Dallas has played better defensively. They had to have. They were the worst in the league, maybe in the history of the league. So they're playing a little better, but come on, man. Like, and moving forward, are you confident that this team can get better running with the same players and the same defense? I'm not.
That is the question, Shefty. So as we sort of project forward, look, it's no secret we talk a lot about the Cowboys on this program. I make no apologies for it. There isn't any reason to talk about them much the rest of this year. But as far as going forward into the future, the questions will be about George Pickens. The questions will be about rebuilding a defense that, while they made the big acquisitions, continued to let them down as their season was on the line here. What does the future look like?
They are significantly over the cap right now, about $78 million. But they've accounted for all this, and there are ways to easily get down that they've planned for. It's not like you look at that number and say, that's daunting, they can't do anything, they're financially strapped. They're in a tough spot. They've made sacrifices, but they will be able to make some moves. Again, not as many as you'd like. They did recoup some draft capital along the way for all the players that they traded away, gave some of it back. But the Dallas Cowboys this year, Greeny, gave us as much as we could possibly want. They outlived their diagnosis. Like, we thought they were dead on arrival early in the season.
It's true.
They were given a few weeks to live. They lasted until December 14th.
Should they have been better, though, is the question. Yes, to your point. They look done. They make the trades at the trade deadline. They win a couple of games. They beat the Eagles. They beat the Chiefs. It looks like fun. And then all of a sudden, from that point forward, it just fell completely apart. John Fink, who's a coordinating producer, asked me a question. I'll ask it to you. Do you consider their season a failure?
Yes, I do.
Relative to what they should have been?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I don't think, this was obviously it's a flawed team, particularly on the defensive side. Even with Michael Parsons, we've seen not only in past years they weren't playing up to par with a guy like Michael Parsons. So I think when you look at this Dallas Cowboys team, you got to look at everything. You got to look at the scheme. Is the right defensive coordinator in place? Personnel, all those type of things need to be evaluated because, man, you're just wasting the way Dak has been playing this year and the offense that they were able to deploy. I mean, you score almost 30 points a game and you can't find yourself in the postseason. That's terrible.
Well, see, there's where I look at it half full. I look at this as it was a huge success because you found the right head coach. It was a huge success because you have a Super Bowl caliber offense now. But it was an epic fail on this defense. And Jerry Jones, you're part of the blame. You hired Matt Eberflus, all right? You brought this for some reason, and you know this guy. You brought him back with you, and it's been an epic fail. Personnel-wise, does the system work with the players you have? I don't know, but it's been an absolute disaster on defense. So something has to give there. They got to get better. They got to give Eberflus his players that he wants, whatever, or get rid of them. Something has to give there. But to me, huge success at the head